Welcome to the laboratory again. Here in episode 2, I am Dr. Makita von Linear Equation. Come closer, as today we use the skin and the cells of a snake to look at the protein structure of the virus and how we can solve the mystery of quarantine.
Professor H here. So we went ahead and designed a protein fold game. Basically, whenever there's some kind of virus out there and we're trying to figure out, its protein structure, sometimes it's best to just create a game and just make it open source and let people go ahead and try to solve it. Because through that, usually we get some really interesting data and solutions. Well, this is one particular problem that was solved by a gamer, and apparently this is very important in our study with COVID. What we need to figure out is the digit that's represented by A, B, and C, and we need to know what is the sum of A, B, and C when they're added together.
What up, my quarantine math people? Back at it again in episode 2. Professor H hitting us with some problems. So let's jump right in. First of all, thank you so much for participating in our protein structure game, helping us solve the mystery of quarantine. So hopefully you guys have your answers next to you, and now you're checking them to see how you did. Although this is a subtraction problem, what we want to do is we want to find out the sum of A, B, and C. So we're going to say the sum of A, B, and C is blank. A, B, and C is blank. All right. So to figure that out, we are going to be solving this equation. A plus B plus C is going to give us our answer. Okay. Now, however, to figure that equation out, we have to figure out, okay, what digits do A, B, and C represent? So I'm going to start right here with A minus A, okay? Because no matter what digit A is, any digit minus itself is going to give us 0. So we know right off the bat that B is 0, okay? Because if this is a 9, okay, great. 9 minus 9 is 0. If it's a 5, 5 minus 5 is 0. So we know that B equals 0. So I'm going to put that over there in my equation. I will erase that. And now we need to come over here and recognize something. Well, first of all, we know that B is 0. So I can put a 0 here, and I can put a 0 here. Now, if you notice, we have a digit in the hundreds place for our top number. But when we subtracted, we no longer have anything right here, which means we had to borrow from this, right? And when we borrowed and we were regrouping back to our tens place, this had to become a 0, because if it was anything other than a 0, let's say this was a 3 and we borrowed from it and we made it a 2, then, okay, 2 minus 0 would be 2. So this would again be down here. But because we don't have anything in its place, what we know about A is when we borrowed so that we could regroup in our tens place, A became 0. So if I understand what's happening when I'm regrouping and I'm borrowing, I know that when I borrowed from this, it became a 0, which means A has to be 1, because 1 is the only number that when you borrow from it, it's going to become a 0. So now that we know this is a 1 and that's a 1, so we know AB is 10, but again, that's not our answer. We want to know the sum of A, B, and C. All right. So now we need to go back, and I'm going to rewrite this now. Okay. So I know that this is 101 minus, and I still don't know C, and it gave me 10. Okay. Well, no matter what this is, I have to go borrow because I can't take anything away from 0. So I'm going to borrow from the hundreds place. I'm going to regroup that to the tens place. So now I have 10 tens, which really is 100. So 10 minus what is going to give me 1? Well, C has to be 9 then, right? And so really my numbers are saying 101 minus 91. So then if I plug in 9 for C and I add those together, my sum would be 10. So the answer to this protein structure game is the sum of A, B, and C is 10. Thanks so much for checking us out this week. If you have not, please like and subscribe. When you subscribe, It helps us out. It brings more views to us so that more people can be doing this awesome math just like you. As always, stay safe, do math. I'm out.